So this is the Sony A7S III, and I'm going to show you how to use it as a streaming webcam. Now you might be thinking, why would you want to use a Sony A7S III, a almost $4,000 camera, as a webcam? Well, I say why not? Because if you've already got one of these bad boys, then you know how good the quality of this camera is. It's an absolutely fantastic camera for filmmaking, videography, and even photography. I mean, it's just an overall really amazing camera and one of the most popular cameras for more professional content creators out there who do more video-centric work. Now, given that this thing has such amazing video quality and you really want to spice up your video conferencing or web calls or streaming, whatever you want to use it for, then this is an absolute fantastic camera for that purpose. And why not have an overkill streaming setup, or why not have an overkill webcam and wow your colleagues, audiences, and whatever it is? Because whenever I use it, I always get compliments, say, oh my god, you're so clear, and I'm like, yes, because I'm using a $4,000 camera with a $600 lens or something like that. Whatever. Now, enough babbling on. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to get this thing running as a webcam. Nice, simple, and easy. There are a couple of things that you want to grab. Number one is one of these. It is the Elgato Camlink 4K. I would highly recommend getting the Camlink 4K, especially if you're going to use a camera of this caliber as a webcam, because it is the best quality of the capture cards. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't use any of the others. There are other third-party capture cards out there, like this really nice cheap one that I bought off of Amazon for a couple of pounds, and they pretty much do the same thing, but you might not get the 4K out of them because they do run on just standard USB 2.0. But they're not as reliable. They do break much more easily and maybe sometimes overheat, and that's why I just recommend getting the Elgato Camlink 4K. Next to that, you're going to need a full HDMI cable, and this is a HDMI, well, it's a full HDMI to full HDMI because the Sony A7S III does take a HDMI cable. Now mind you, this setup is going to be very similar for whether you've got an A7S III or an A7 IV or an R5 or an R4 or an R3 or an A7S III. Any of the Alpha 7 line that has webcam capabilities or has streaming capabilities is gonna use the same process. The newer Sony's AVE1 and some of the newer Sony cameras also have USB-C input. That's a whole different video. So I'm showing you the method that requires a capture card, and really with the capture card you are going to get the highest quality, even up to the 4K quality that comes out of this. And next up, what you're going to need is actually just something to power this, because if you are going to be running it as a webcam, you might be using it for a couple of hours or even a couple of minutes, but ideally you want something to power this. You can use a dummy battery. I tend not to do that. I kind of just use a USB-C cable that plugs right into the camera and that charges it or powers it whilst you're using it as your streaming camera. So first things first, what you want to do is plug in your HDMI cable. So we're going to just plug this in. Then we're going to plug in the other end into the capture card, like yay. And then plug the capture card into the laptop. So I've got my nice MacBook Air here. Obviously, because I'm using the MacBook Air, I've got this little USB adapter here that can help me to plug in to the USB-C port. So once you've got that all plugged in, we're going to switch on our camera. And once you switch on the camera, the first thing you really want to do is dial in all of the settings into the camera. Now, I've used the dial at the top to pop it into manual video mode, and that's because that will give you the maximum control over your camera settings. So then what we want to do is you want to hop into the menu and go into the first menu system, which is the shooting system. So you want to go into that red box there at the top and go into image quality. File format, I would just swap. You know, it depends on what you want to pop it in as. XAVC HD is going to pop it into 1080p mode, and 4K is going to pop it into 4K mode. If you want to stream in 4K, then you can absolutely do that. I'll show you how to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Now, the rest of it is going to be very identical, regardless of whether you're going to be in 4K or HD. So I'm going to use HD for this purpose because I think 4K is a bit overkill. Everything in social media and online kind of gets compressed down to 1080p anyway, especially with live streaming. So I would just kind of stick to HD. But yes, 4K is possible. We're going to go to movie settings here, and I tend to keep my record frame rate to 30p or 30 FPS because, again, when you're streaming online or on social media or on anything kind of live streaming, 30 FPS is probably the nice little smooth point kind of middle ground that I've seen, and generally web-based stuff is in 30 FPS, so I would keep that at 30p. I only use 24p for all my videos because I like the more cinematic look with the motion blur that it brings out, and 60 FPS if you want to use 60 FPS you can do, but it's not going to look nice and natural. It is going to look a lot smoother and might look a little bit unnatural to your audiences or colleagues or whoever you're going to be streaming out to. So we're going to keep that at 30 FPS. Record setting in this case doesn't really matter. You can keep it at 422 or 420. It doesn't really make much of a difference because you're not going to be recording internally. You're going to be using this through some form of a streaming software or through a webcam software. The rest of the settings here we don't want to touch. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the kind of main camera screen, and from there we're going to just dial in our exposure settings. So we're going to start off with the shutter speed. So depending on how you change your shutter speed, just make sure that that's set to twice the frame rate that you've got. So if you're shooting in 30 FPS or 30p, you want to have that set to 1/60 to follow the 180-degree rule, which basically is going to give you that nice natural motion blur. The next two are going to be very dependent on your environment and your setting and your lighting. So I've got it set here to the aperture being at f2.8 because that's the minimum aperture of the lens that I have fitted on, but also because that's the one that kind of looks the nicest for me with the best kind of background blur or bokeh, and also if it's the lighting conditions that I've got set up here. And same with the ISO, you just kind of want to set the ISO to however you want. I'm going to have it set to about 640. I can readjust that when I've got it kind of nice and set up in front of me. So yeah, make sure you dial that in according to your environment and don't just copy what I've done here. So 2.8 and 640 aren't necessarily going to work for you. It might be something slightly different. Also depends on the lens that you're using. You might be able to go lower or higher or whatever. So next up, there's one other thing that you want to do is you want to go down to the menu, which is the setup menu, the yellow menu, and then go from this yellow menu to your external output settings. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the HDMI resolution. Now here you can set this to auto, or if you want to film only in 4K, you can put it to 2160p, or if you want to film only in 1080p, you can put it to 1080p. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to put it to 1080p. Normally I just have it set to auto, but 1080p, this is basically showing that you have so much control over the settings of this camera. Then if you go to HDMI output settings, again, record media during HDMI output, you can do that because this basically allows you to also connect the HDMI to maybe like an external monitor like an Atmos Ninja, and you can record whilst you've got it set to the HDMI output. So we're not really going to touch that one, but we are going to go to the output resolution again, and we are going to set that back to either auto, and it's going to do its thing, or we can just kind of set that back down to 2160p or 1080p. So in this case, again, I'm going to keep it at 1080p just for the purposes of this video. It's really not going to make a difference in terms of what it's set at. It just kind of limits what you have available from whatever streaming software or external output device that you've got it connected to. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to hit this HDMI info display needs to be set to off, and what that is going to do is that's going to produce a clean HDMI image for you when you've got it connected and set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to off now, and then I'm going to set this up and I'm going to show you how to get this set up on OBS. But the process is really going to be simple as choosing the Elgato Camlink 4K as your video source, regardless of whichever software you're going to be using this camera in as a webcam. So whether you're going to be using in Zoom or Teams or I don't know, Streamlabs, OBS, whatever, you're going to be having to select that source as your kind of webcam source. But I'm going to show you how to do it in OBS because that is the most commonly used streaming software for those content creators out there who are going to be using it as a streaming device. So I've got it popped up here now, and I'm going to switch over to the laptop and I'm going to show you how to get this thing running in OBS. So when you've got OBS open, what you want to do is you want to come down to the little sources section down here in the bottom kind of leftish, and you're going to hit that plus button and select video capture device. I'm going to rename it as A7S3 and then hit OK. And then what you're going to get is you're going to get the option to select your devices. Obviously I've got my iPhone 15 Pro Max, my FaceTime HD camera, which is the built-in camera, and then the Camlink 4K, which is identified as being connected to my camera. So once I've hit that, there you go, you've got your source that pops up. Now By default, it's going to be down at 720p, but you can change that. Now, as you can see, the internal settings, we have limited to 1080p. That's the highest resolution you're going to get here. If you have that set to auto, it's going to allow you to go into 4K mode. But because we've set it to 1080p, this is what we're getting. If you hit the checkbox that says use preset, you're going to be able to get a little bit more control over the kind of FPS and the frame rate that you've got in here. So I'm going to hit that, and again 1080p is the limit, is the higher limit, so that's what it's allowing you to use. And then it's putting it into 60, which is a bit weird, but I think the best option really is to just use the preset and then carry on with that, because you have everything else dialed into the settings of the camera, and it's not really going to make a huge difference when you're in OBS. So we're going to hit OK, and as you can see, that's the feed. So I'm actually going to shift my attention over to the actual feed here, and we're going to just have a look at what it looks like kind of blown up in full quality. So in 3, 2, 1. What's up guys, Future Me here. You know the mess in the background, this is one of my editing days, so everything isn't nice and spick and span and clean, and you guys are obviously seeing a very different angle. Now, I realized something while I was editing, and that is that basically the recording I did before with the A7S III hooked up to the cam link just didn't work, because it worked, but it was very laggy and completely unusable. And I put it down to the M2 MacBook Air, which probably just wasn't powerful enough to do the recording, the streaming, and a whole bunch of other things that it was doing, because I was screen recording and recording in OBS and streaming all at the same time. So that didn't work. However, everything else in the video is going to stay the same in terms of how I set up the camera, how I added it to OBS, everything should be the same. And you guys can see now, there shouldn't be any lag. I'm actually streaming this through at 4K 24 FPS to match the kind of frame rate that I'm using in the video, and the quality kind of speaks for itself. You can see the quality, and this isn't in log, this hasn't been graded, this is straight out, I want to say straight out of the camera, right into OBS and recorded through OBS. So this is basically what your audience would see in the situation if you were using it as a streaming device, or if you were in a Zoom call or something like that. So this is straight from the camera to the capture card, and no grading, no color grading, no fixing up, no editing done to the footage itself. This is the raw footage coming straight into the computer, and I think the visuals speak for themselves in this case. So back to the main segment, or back to the kind of past segment of the video. I don't know what to call it. Back to the video. So the only limitation you're going to face in terms of the quality is also the PC build that you've got. Ideally, you want something relatively powerful to be able to run this, and you've got some high quality footage kind of coming into it through that HDMI cable, through that capture card, and you're processing that alongside maybe either recording or processing it alongside gameplay that you're streaming through OBS, or a lot of things that it's having to do. You want to use a relatively well-built PC that can handle that level of kind of streaming. If you're just going to be using it as a webcam, then that's not going to be a problem. I always get compliments whenever I use this camera as a webcam. So because obviously it's almost $4,000 camera setup, and it's absolutely overkill, and for the layperson this is absolutely not necessary. But hey, if you've got it lying around, or if you've got it and you want to use it, then why not? So I hope that was useful to you guys. If you guys have any questions, then please do pop them down in the comments. I will try and help you guys troubleshoot any kind of issues that you have in the comments below. And if you want more attention from me and you want to ask me kind of questions directly, or help me guide you through the process directly, then please do hit that membership button and become a member of the channel, because what that will get you is extra perks such as more attention from me, priority answering of comments, as well as the option for even contacting me directly through social media and chatting with me, various other things. But yeah, it helps the channel out, it helps me out a lot, and obviously you get a couple of nice perks. So that's all for today guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, this is Kaio24 signing out.